We are gathered here to fill you with fear and give you a treat for your ears as we invade your mind with our scary rhymes and some tales that can be gory. As you bear witness and sit here and listen to our poetic horror stories. I am your host and narrator, Gloomy Pond. I hope you are here to have some fun. I have here with me 3 stories told poetically for you to enjoy and consume. So please feel free to turn up your volume. We are here every Friday to play with spooks and shades to parade their display. So boys and girls, get ready for a journey into our world. Grab some popcorn and some snacks. Get comfortable and relax. And do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It is free. It won't cost you anything. And please hit the bell. With that said, now on with tonight's tales. I have a spot I love up on a hill. I visit to look out of my telescope to watch the moon and stars. When I noticed something moving in the sky that looked kind of odd, the object moved in ways I'd never seen, with particles of light trailing behind them like a beam. I watched it move back and forth, up and down, and it go around in a circle doing twirls. I thought to myself, this has to be out of this world. I couldn't explain it, no matter how hard I tried. Then it looks like it was shot down right out of the sky. I was in disbelief about what the hell I had just seen. I looked again through my telescope, and I can see another object moving around quickly, with 2 other flying objects in chase moving briskly. I could see beams of light shooting out from the 2 flying objects, like they are in a Star War, shooting towards the single one aircraft, trying to take it down by force. I felt like I was watching a sci-fi alien TV show. The alien invaders were flying top speed, maneuvering and fighting it out. UFO. Suddenly, I saw a couple of unmarked black jets joining the fight, and Navy Black Hawks, helicopters that flew in. Then I witnessed a blinding white light. It engulfed the whole sky, but there was no sound. I felt rumbling and shaking coming up through the ground. Then came a blast of wind that blew me down. I was dazed and I wasn't sure what happened. For a moment, I believe all this I must have imagined. I started to search for my telescope, but I was never able to recover it. It was gone, like it never existed. And when I looked up into the sky, there was no helicopters, jet, nor UFO that I could see with my naked eye. I was miles away from where the fight was going on. There should have been no way they knew that I was there on this hill. No way at all. But I believe that they did somehow see me, even though it's an impossibility. Now I'm left here all alone with my thoughts, and the memories from what I saw and the war that happened among the stars. Have you ever seen the show Casper the Friendly Ghost? He's a ghost that just wants to make friends. He never meant to scare or to provoke. When I was a kid, we also had a friendly ghost living in our home. Every time I saw him, he would wave and say hello. He told me how he died when he was a kid. He had the flu and a very high fever. He was really sick. And he didn't recover. That was it. Now he feels like he's all alone, and he wants a friend of his own. I told him I would be his friend. I would be his best friend till the end. He made me promise, so I crossed my heart and hoped to die. Then he told me the plan he had in mind. For us to be totally close and best friends, I would need to become a ghost, just like him. That way, we would never grow old. We would be young forever, bonded by our souls. I told him I didn't know. My family would be really sad if I made this choice. But you promised you would be my friend. You can't go back on your word. I will help you cross over. I promise it won't hurt. To Tonight while you are asleep, I will cover your face with a pillow while you slumber deep. Then you will wake up on the other side. You will be here with me, our destiny intertwined. Even though I was a kid, I knew this was wrong. But suddenly, he started to cry and begged me not to leave him alone. I told him I didn't know, because I was torn. I mean, I understand loneliness. I'm an only child, and it was nice to have a friend. We have had a good time, but I don't want to do this. I don't want this to be my end. And if this is the only way, then we can't be friends. When I said this, he changed, and he wasn't friendly anymore. And now he was just a pissed off ghost. So I thought, you made a promise to me, and now I see that didn't mean anything. If you don't want to be my friend, then that's fine. But you will keep your promise to die. That day, my mother saved my life. She found me unresponsive on the floor. If she was a second late, I would have been a corpse. Soon after that, we moved away from that house. I was very happy we were out. I now know that he wasn't a friendly ghost at all. That whole time, it was a demon in disguise trying to take my soul. My best friend spontaneously combusted right in front of me. She told me she didn't feel good. The next moment she started to smoke, and then she was on fire. I was stunned into disbelief. I didn't even have enough time to get her some help. All I could do was stand there and watch her burn to death. When the fire went out, there was nothing left. There was no remains. The fire burned her up completely, almost like she never existed. This I can't explain. What am I going to tell her family when I return without her from our camping trip? People will think I'm insane if I try and tell them this. They won't believe me anyway. They are going to accuse me of foul play. This isn't fair. I've done nothing wrong, but I'm sure I'm going to jail. What the hell am I going to do? They will arrest me if I tell the truth. I decided the only thing I could do was to set the camp area on fire. It made sense to me at the time. It was the only thing I could think of. We still had wood and lint left, so I lit the tent on fire with my lighter. Unfortunately for me, my jacket I was wearing also caught on fire and started to burn. Thank God for the other campers that saw the fire and rushed over to help me, so I wasn't seriously hurt. By the time the fire department made it to the scene, the camp area was all ablaze. There was so much smoke, I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. But the firefighters got the fire under control. They were able to put it completely out before it had a chance to grow. They asked me what happened. I fought back tears to the point I started to choke. I told them the kindling from our pit caught our tent on fire. That's what I reported. Then I told them I lost my friend. We were separated by the fire, and I don't know where she went. They gathered a search group together. They searched all over the campgrounds. I searched for her too, knowing she wouldn't be found. After a few days, they gave up. The camping area was too big and too vast. They couldn't continue with the search. It would be a monumental task. So they took me home and broke the news to my best friend's family about the campfire. And there was no hope of finding my friend. She had most likely expired. This happened 10 years ago, but to me, it feels like it happened yesterday. I still have nightmares about her spontaneously combusting till this day. Every time I close my eyes, I just see her going up in flames. This is just a friendly reminder to please like and comment to let us know how we are doing so far. We would love to hear from you all. And if you're new, please subscribe and become a part of the PHS crew. And we thank you. This is a story of Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, who was supposedly up to no good. Well, that's the way the story goes. Little Red Riding Hood was the innocent one, you see. But if you take a closer look at the story, things aren't quite what they seem. What if I told you the wolf wasn't really bad? He had a family that loved him deeply, a daughter, a son, and a wife. They said he was a good husband and dad. That day, when he went out, he wasn't looking for prey. No, that day he just happened to stumble upon the path where Red Riding Hood led him astray. You see, Little Red Riding Hood hated living in the woods with her sweet little granny. And when she saw the wolf lurking, that is when she came up with a plan that was cunning. She thought it was outstanding. She quickly put her plan into motion. To catch the wolf's attention, she cried very loud with great emotions. The wolf came over concerned and asked her why she crying. Little Red Riding Hood put on her best performance she could as she started lying. I'm on my way to my granny's home with the basket full of treats. But I got tangled up in this brush, and I fell and twisted my knee. And now the treats are wasted all over the ground. And my granny will be very upset with me. My granny sent me to the market to pick up this food for the month. And if I go back empty-handed, she will lay her cane to my behind. And I have no more money to go back and get more. It's getting dark and I'm running out of time. My granny isn't a sweet old lady. She's mean, bitter, and cruel. And I'm afraid to go back home with nothing at all. I know she will beat me black and blue. Now this had unsettled the wolf. He didn't want the poor child to be abused. He decided he would go with her and talk to her granny and let her know this was an accident. This was no fault of her own. These things just happened. She should be compassionate. Little Red Riding Hood was pleased that the wolf fell for her scheme. She said, "You would do that for me?" The wolf said,
"Yes, now let's be on our way to your granny house. I promise everything will be okay."
But little did the wolf know that Little Red Riding Hood's granny was long dead and gone. From this world, she no longer roamed. Little Red Riding Hood had did away with her. She did it with a hatchet before she left for the market. And now she was setting the wolf up for the fall. He was her new target. When the wolf entered Granny's home, he could see everything was out of sync and wrong. The house was dark and very quiet. There was no movement. It was still and eerily silent. Little Red Riding Hood turned on the lights, and what the wolf saw filled him with fright. Granny laid in bed with a hatchet protruding from her head. Little Red Riding Hood just laughed and then said, "Wow, you have really big eyes. I guess this is taking you by surprise. And with your mouth agape open wide, I can see your teeth are big and sharp. I hadn't really realized. But now I know. You can tell you've been misled. But I need someone else to take the rap for my granny laying here dead. My granny was worth more dead than alive. And now with the insurance money I'm going to collect, I can get out of the damn woods and start a new life." But the wolf shook off the shock of this reality and wasn't giving in without a fight. He wanted to live, to get back home to his kids and wife. So the wolf roared and growled, ready to strike. But that's when a lumberjack with his axe heard all the commotion happening in Granny's home. And by him being the brave and heroic man he was, he just needed to investigate to see what was going on. He kicked open the door and saw the wolf was about to attack Little Red Riding Hood. He pulled out his axe and chopped the wolf's head off onto the floor. The poor wolf didn't see it coming. He was no more. Little Red Riding Hood knew the lumberjack would hear because he was nosy and always near. She knew his ego would lead him to break in, so she wasn't shocked. The lumberjack was her witness. This would help her get away with her plot. The lumberjack called the police, who investigated and blamed everything on the big bad wolf. They said he broke into Granny's home and murdered her and waited till Little Red Riding Hood came back with her food. But now you know the truth. Again, not everything is what it seems. And sometimes, bad people get away with doing bad things. The moral to this tale: use your best judgment when you decide to help someone you think is in need. Because sometimes, you could end up losing your life and paying the price for doing what you think is right. I built a Minecraft house. It was supposed to keep the monsters out, but in every room a monster would appear. I wasn't sure how they were getting in, so I tore down my house to build a new home. But to my dismay, when I start to dig, I keep digging up bones. The game showed me I was building my house on graves. These were the monsters that I battled and killed before, all that I cut down with my sword. And now, anywhere I place my home, my house is always haunted by these tormented souls. To those of you who will die, the clock is ticking. It is only a matter of time. I know this is not what you want to hear. Death is something we all fear. The unknown is scary, that's for sure. But no one can give proof to what will happen next, to make you feel safe and secure. But don't let yourself get caught up in the semantics. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I know this sounds tragic, and this is why we shouldn't waste time on frivolous things that consume our lives. Think about yourself and do what is best for you. Live your life with no remorse and no regrets, and do what you really want to do. If you ever see a tall woman dressed in black with a white mask covering her face, quickly turn and walk away, because under that mask, she has no face. It has been erased. She is searching for a new one, and believe me, she would be glad to rip your face off, to use it in its place. My dog woke me up last night, barking and growling. He sounds like he was ready to fight. So I took a look out of my bedroom window, and I saw a praying mantis-like creature walking towards my dog. I was still in a sleepy haze, so I shook my head, went to bed. But I was wrong, because this morning I found my dog's blood-stained leash, and he is now missing from my backyard. I accidentally cut part of my finger off when I was cooking my soup. I arrived back home from the emergency room. My soup was still on the stove, ready to be consumed. I tasted the soup, and it tastes really good. Now, my soup isn't complete without a part of me being cooked. I think my neighbor is a witch, because last night I saw her with a voodoo doll that looked like me, that she stitched. She was contorting the limbs in crazy ways as she played with it. And now I'm lying here in a hospital bed with broken bones and a nervous twitch. So, you're still here, and you made it to the end. I'm glad that you have no fear, and we did not get under your skin. I hope you enjoyed all our stories, and they will not keep you up tonight. And there is nothing lurking for you in the dark, and that you can close your eyes and sleep tight. Thank you for listening to all our creepy rhymes. We hope to see you again. Until next time.